Imagine standing on the deck of a ship that everyone says is unsinkable. The engineers have the latest charts and the captain has the best training in history. Every passenger feels safe because they have been told the old rules no longer apply. That feeling of absolute safety right before the ice hits. That is the most dangerous moment in financial history. Every generation believes it has finally figured money out. Not just improved it, but truly figured it out. They say it with confidence, with charts, and with new language. They use fresh theories that promise to turn uncertainty into something scientific. But behind the new tools, there is one constant that never changes: human behavior. And human behavior is remarkably loyal to its illusions. This time is different. Those four words have preceded more financial disasters than bad math ever did. They have been spoken by merchants in 17th century Amsterdam, by bankers in 1920s New York, by traders in late 90s Silicon Valley, and by policymakers with far more degrees than humility. Each time the conviction was sincere. Each time the outcome was familiar. This is not about a single crash or a single mistake. It is about the reason the same economic illusions keep resurfacing century after century, even as societies grow richer, smarter, and more advanced. If markets were purely rational, economic history would be boring. But markets are not machines. They are mirrors. They reflect fear, optimism, greed, and hope, often all at once. When enough people believe the same comforting story, illusion hardens into consensus. Take a step back and look at the pattern. In the 1630s, Dutch traders believed tulip bulbs were more than just crops. They believed tulips had become a new asset class. Prices detached from utility and logic followed the price. Anyone questioning it was told they simply did not understand the market. 3 centuries later, investors said the same thing about radio stocks, then about internet companies in the 90s and housing in the early 2000s. Different centuries, different assets, but identical logic. What changed was not the illusion. It was the costume. Each era wraps its optimism in the most advanced language available. Today, it is algorithms, liquidity, and new digital paradigms. The sophistication grows, but the vulnerability remains. Illusions do not survive by being obviously false. They survive by being emotionally useful. One of the oldest illusions humans fall for is the belief in permanent growth. The idea that progress once achieved becomes a law of nature, that tomorrow will always be larger than today. Growth becomes less a result and more a promise. Once growth is assumed, anything that threatens it feels temporary. Slowdowns are framed as glitches and corrections as overreactions. When growth falters, societies rarely question the belief itself. Instead, they question the obstacle. So systems stretch, credit expands, and rules loosen. Risk is pushed forward in time and pain is deferred. As systems grow more complex, another belief quietly takes hold. That complexity equals safety. That slicing risk and modeling it somehow makes it disappear. In reality, complexity does not remove risk. It redistributes it and obscures it. It creates distance between cause and consequence. It allows a responsibility to dissolve into a technical process, and most importantly, it creates the illusion that someone is in control. We place enormous weight on the idea that there is a cockpit and that someone competent is sitting in it. Not because it is always true, but because it keeps the system moving. Confidence, after all, is a form of currency. Yet history shows that control is often reactive and constrained. The appearance of control buys time. It does not guarantee outcomes. Meanwhile, the costs don't vanish. They shift. Debt allows societies to consume future growth today. Inflation allows governments to reduce obligations quietly. Bailouts allow losses to be absorbed by the system. But history is relentless. About one thing, costs always surface. And when they do, they rarely land evenly. Entire generations can inherit a system burdened by decisions they never voted for. The most dangerous moment in any cycle is not the collapse. It is confidence. The moment when people believe the system has evolved beyond its own history. That risk has been mastered and warnings are outdated. History repeats because human psychology has not evolved as fast as the systems. In that gap between innovation and behavior, illusions thrive. The modern world has accelerated this dynamic. Information travels faster than ever and markets react in milliseconds, yet decision-making is still filtered through the same emotional machinery. Short-term success is still mistaken for proof of a new era. Rising prices are still confused with value. We think because we have more data, we must be less vulnerable. But information does not automatically produce wisdom. It often produces confidence, which can be just as dangerous as ignorance. No system can outgrow the psychology of the people operating it. Markets fail because humans underestimate risk and delay accountability. History is far less useful as a crystal ball than it is as a mirror. It shows us how easily we trade resilience for short-term comfort. Financial freedom comes from understanding where illusions live. It comes from humility and accepting that no era is immune. Progress does not erase patterns. It disguises them. Which of these illusions are we living through right now? Let me know in the comments. If this gave you a new perspective, hit the like button and subscribe.